Hello there folks, I'm Groovy G and welcome to the penultimate Groovy G Replica Belts Big Gold Leather Challenge. During this challenge we have taken the best leather crafters from around the world and brought them into one place to make it easier for you to decide on which leather crafter you'll choose to re-leather your Groovy G Replica Belts Big Gold Replica. And even though this series wasn't a competition, that doesn't mean there won't be a winner. During this show, we will announce who has won their very own fully re-leathered Groovy G Replica belts that will be delivered to their door absolutely free just by liking and subscribing to any one of the Leather Challenge series videos. But we can't make everything that simple. Not only will you have to decide which leather crafter you'll pick, you'll also have to decide which leather cut and color you'll want, but now you'll also have to decide which Groovy G Replica belts Big Gold Replica you want to pick to have fully re-leathered. Will it be all gold or will it be the new dual plated edition? Before we announce that lucky winner, let's get introduced to the newest member of the Groovy G Replica Belts family, the dual plated edition. And here she is in all of her glory. This is how your Groovy G Replica Belts dual plated edition Big Gold will come to you. It's still on that faux leather strap. Now, the whole idea of this leather challenge has been to showcase leather crafters from around the world. Now, I could get this replica put onto a real leather strap, but the quality of the leather would be nowhere near the same as the excellence that is produced by real leather crafters. Now, the strap is very simple. It's just got a stitched black border. It's very flexible, very floppy. All of the bolts are exposed on the back, so you can take the plates off and on quite easily, and it will stand up, it'll display. But like I've said, once you've put this belt onto a real leather strap, it looks $1 million. If we go in for a little bit of a closer look, it's still got that gap between the main plate and the side plates because this was originally modelled on the AFX Studio cast copy. Another negative that I'll show first up, the gold plating doesn't extend right around to the borders of the plates, either on the side plates or the main plates. Just wasn't possible. We tried our hardest, but we just couldn't get that on the sides as well. So that doesn't really detract from the actual plates though. So let's go and have a closer look at the plates. And we can see all that detail is still in there, but it's dual plated this time. And I think it makes a little bit more sense with those chevrons, with that V pattern in behind on the silver or nickel part. Now, this belt was actually cast off a belt that was handmade by a silversmith. That's why it's 3D. It's not acid etched. It hasn't been acid etched and dug into like a lot of the Pakistani belts. And you can see that floral work, and you can see what's called the wriggle. So that's those little V's in the background. Makes a little bit more sense when you have a look at the words and you have a look at World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Now, those little V's, they aren't CNC made. They're not made by a computer. They've been made by hand. And if you have a closer look, you can really tell now that it's on the nickel that it's not 100% even. It's not 100% perfect because this was also done by hand, just like the original Crumrine Big Gold belt. Some of those chevrons aren't exactly perfect. Some are a little bit out of place, but that just adds to the character of this belt because this was originally a handmade belt, just like the original handmade belt that was used on TV. And if we have a look at this at various angles, this is a very shiny belt. The camera is picking up a little bit differently. Some of the different pieces might look a little bit like different coloured parts, but it's all the same gold. It's got a nice little curve to it, so it fits around the waist nicely. And you can sort of see on the nameplate there how that's curved. That nameplate is also still fully removable. We can see the raised rope border around the outside, and we can see that texture inside the letters. And all the letters on this particular replica are the same size. That has been a sticking point for some of the newer replicas coming out quite recently. I'll try to just go around so we can have a look at just how the lights hit this at various angles. Like I said, if we have a look in the globe there, this does have a mirror finish, even on the crown and on the globe. Even on the silver part, it does have a mirror finish. It's a little bit hard to pick up though because it's all textured within the inside of it. So that's really giving you that 3D, not just effect, but it's a really 3D example of a belt. Here's all the floral work. And again, those chevrons, that wiggle that goes in between those scrolls there, that also is extended up into the background of the letters and also around the border as well too, and around the wrestlers, and also within the nameplate and around the nameplate as well. So like I said, this particular replica was cast from a real handmade big gold belt that was made by a rodeo buckle silversmith. So that's why you'll see all those little intricacies in there, and because it comes out in those two colours, you can really see those real handmade elements that have come up. You can't get this effect by acid etching, you can't get this effect by etching and then digging into it afterwards, which is a lot of companies will do that with their big gold belt. This is all totally handmade, and it has been cast from a handmade belt. So you can see all of those little tweaks and all of those little extra bits of floral effort that the silversmith has put into it. We're going to take a quick break, but while we do, why don't you check us out on Instagram? Yes, we've moved into 2023. We're on Instagram. We're at Groovy G Replica Belts. Here's the little thing that you can scan with your smartphones, or you can look us up on Instagram. Lots of photos, lots of videos, lots of different angles. And I'm also loving to see those shots that people are taking of their own Groovy G replica belts and what the little modifications they've done to their belts as well too. Let's have another look at a video here. And the big gold belt that you can see up on top, this has been fully re-leathered. It's on a Cordovan strap. It's got white stitching around the outside. This is actually done by Alvin Paul of Figure 4 Championship, who appeared on the Groovy G replica belts big gold leather challenge. And you can see the plate details are exactly the same from the replica. The only thing that's different is actually that it's based on real leather now, and it makes so much difference. Here's Alvin Paul's little signature stamp. I'll just show you the snaps. I'll try and get you a proper picture of his signature stamp there. And any one of the leather crafters in this series can get you something, can make a leather strap for this replica and make it absolutely beautiful. And Alvin's also done me a solid here, and he's got a Groovy G nameplate. Because the nameplate on the replica is fully removable, you can make your own nameplates. It can be your favourite wrestler, it can be your own name, it can be even a company logo or something like that. Still got the same floral details, exactly the same as the first replica that I just showed you. This time it just has a leather strap, and I think it really does make all the difference. And that's been the whole idea behind this leather challenge series. You can see who's local in your area and find out, to your budget as well too, who you can send your plates to. Here's Figure 4 replica. That's his other little leather stamp down the end. I think that looks very cool. And that white stitching around the outside, just like the original belt that debuted on TV all those years ago. Now, Alvin's also done a little bit of a mod on this particular belt. He's just got a black backing on the back of it that covers up all of the screws, but he's left two down the bottom. That's so we can make the nameplate interchangeable, so I can take it on and off, put the original nameplate that comes with the belt back on, or I might change it over to somebody else depending on how I'm feeling. And you can see the nice little curve in there. Also, because the nameplate hasn't got any texture in it, you can see that it's also gold, and it's got a mirror finish, just like the rest of the plate, so that fits in quite nicely as well too. So there are the two belts side by side. You can see one that's been fully re-leathered and one that comes with the stock faux leather strap, and I think you'll agree, the one on the real leather looks a million times better. You are really surprised. I am really surprised at how good a real leather strap will make this come up. Let's have another quick break and we'll be back in a tick. And finally, here are two big gold replicas that have been re-leathered. The bottom one has been done by Bison and Bear here in Australia. It's the gold strap. I actually went for a little bit of a Midwest style tool on this one, and that's the beauty of having your belt professionally re-leathered as well too. You can get any style or shape that you want. I've got those starburst tooling around the outside there. Gap between the side plates and the main plates a little bit wider than what was used on the dual plated one. And I've also got a little bit of a logo in there as well too, and some texture in the stamp boxes. I really love that texture that Chris Simmons does from Bison and Bear. Like I said, because you're getting your own leather strap, you can put any logos in there you want. You can get your favourite wrestlers' initials, you can get your own initials in there, you can put your favourite company's initials in there, and there's Chris Simmons' Bison and Bear logo down the bottom as well too, and that is some beautiful tooling. Back up with the Alvin Paul one. And we'll flip them around and we can see the detail in these belts, they're exactly the same. The only difference is one is all gold and one is dual plated. So the actual filigree, all of the words, all of the font, the crown, the globe, all of those Concho ruby holders, they're all exactly the same. The only difference is the color. One's all gold and one's dual plated. And between these two belts, the only difference between them is one is put on a black leather strap and the other one is on a Cordovan leather strap. It's got white stitching around the outside as well too, just like the original belt that debuted on TV all of those years ago. Now just try and do a few pictures around so you can see the straps in all of their glory, and you can see how they really make the plates pop as well too. And again, it's really up to you which color strap you decide, and that's the beauty of having your belt fully professionally re-leathered. We can see those chevrons in there behind the letters again in the text. Like I said, I think it makes a little bit more sense on the dual plated version, and here they both are. So there we have it. That is the Groovy G Replica Belts Big Gold Leather Challenge all wrapped up. But before we go, I have to say a big thank you to all the leather crafters who took their time out of their busy schedule to show us their fine work. And hopefully it's given you guys some ideas at home about who you're going to pick to re-leather your big gold belt. Look, it doesn't matter if you're an all gold guy, doesn't matter if you're a dual plated person, doesn't matter if you want a black strap or a Cordovan strap. Look, we're all belt fans. It really is an exciting time to be a big gold collector at the moment, and also a really exciting time for belt collecting in general. Now we can't go without giving away a fully re-leathered big gold replica, and drumroll please, the lucky winner is Mr. Emil Agilet. He's coming from Michigan in the United States. Now Emil has chosen to have Colin Cook of Canuck Belts re-leather a dual-plated version of the Groovy G Replica Belts Big Gold Replica. You can get your own by logging on to www.groovygreplicabelts.com. Hey, like and subscribe to our videos here on YouTube. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. I hope you've had fun. I've certainly had fun with this whole series. Once again, another big thank you to all the leather crafters out there. Stay safe, guys. Until next time, it's bye for now.